first of all, if you are trying cases, you're going to lose some. And so I always ask myself when the jury goes out, is there anything I would have done differently if I could have? And sometimes the answer is yes. And you think about what you would have done differently. And I always take notes while the jury's out as to what I wish I had changed. Because when the jury comes back and if you win, you don't want to change anything. And so you don't learn from that. And so I try to do that while the jury's out. But I have had some huge losses, and one of my partners had a loss a couple weeks ago, and I kind of have this reputation of being one of those people who says when somebody gets hurt, just rub some dirt on it, it'll be okay. And so I guess I did that to him at this point, but I said, he wrote and told us about what happened, and I said, I don't celebrate my wins and I don't commiserate with losses. This is what we are here to do. We are here to continue to fight. You go home, worry about it today. Don't ever think about it again. You will get bigger cases tomorrow. And I got that from a client of mine, my big, huge loss. I had a big, huge loss when I was, a couple decades ago. And I've had two of those big losses that I can think about. But the first one that came out, my client was in the room, and she turned to me when the verdict came in. And we knew they wouldn't hold the whole verdict. We knew it wouldn't end up that bad, but it was still going to end up bad. And she looked at me and she said, well, two things are going to happen tomorrow. I said, what? And she said, I'm going to get a promotion, and you're going to get bigger cases. And that is exactly what happened. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Why is that?
What happens with the lawyers is if you've lost big, they know you're not scared to try the case. And so you can handle and you know how to try a big case. And so that's what happens. And for her, same thing. You handled this huge case. It was a loss, but you handled a huge case, and so we're promoting you. She was promoted and promoted again. She ended up rising to the top. It was crazy. But I never knew that would happen. I never thought that would happen. And it has. It has.
But was it that client or the other client? You said you lost two big cases where it was, I don't celebrate my wins and I don't commiserate the losses.
Yeah, I just said that. I said that to him, that's just something I had learned.
Okay.
I have learned that. Like, people, I can be snippy. And that's one of the things I'm snippy about. People go and they win. And, what that means is you've beaten somebody who really, really, really wanted to win. If you've read that Mark Twain's war prayer, it always makes me think about litigators, because if you're praying to win, you're praying somebody else is going to get hurt. You're praying somebody else is going to die. Somebody else is going to lose the case. And so that's what happens in litigation. And they may be wrong, but you don't have to celebrate that. And so when I win, I don't go out and have happy. I don't do any of that. And the reason for that is I've had enough of that case. I'm going to close this file. I'm moving on to the next one. And it kind of bugs people, but I always tell my associates, fine, go celebrate, but act like you've won a case before. It's not that big a cause for celebrations. Well, you should have won. It was a good case. So they all think I'm mean when I'm saying that. But my point is, it's what you do. You win some, you lose some, and there's no huge reason to celebrate or be sad about it. It is what happens. That's how our system works. And win or lose, the system is still working almost all the time. Sometimes those things you hear about sometimes is an indication the system didn't work in that case, but it almost always works.